Young Blackjack continues to get better and better by the episode. Now I know why so many are telling me to watch the original. I now know why so many is telling me to go look at the original Blackjack and find out why this is such a good series. Because, you know, this is a prequel. Now I understand, because this right here, I'm liking the morals of Hosma, and I'm liking the direction his character is currently going, and what he's facing right now with his internal issues. So, the main thing about this episode, once again, we have another surgery. And this surgery we get is about a deserter. We have two deserters, or an undercover person that is pretending to be a deserter, and then a deserter. And what happened, or what these deserters mean, is people that fleed away from the war, and they are now trying to run away, and for they don't have to fight. And for their own good reasons, in a way, because they said, like, they didn't want to kill children. So, coming from their mouths, I can understand that plight, and to see why they would desert, it makes a lot of sense. But here's the issue. If their government or, you know, the military finds out about them deserting, well, they're going to get executed, probably for treason. And that's kind of the situation they were in throughout the entire episode. So there is the theme of the episode. The theme of the episode is about deserters that cannot go to the hospital to get fixed, because if they were, the authorities might find out about them and then send them back to their military, and then they would probably go on trial and get executed. So that's a very bad situation. Now that I got the theme set up, the episode takes, once again, another role of Hosma having to work or do an operation on someone that he shouldn't be doing an operation on. Because there's a reoccurring theme I've noticed for these past couple episodes now. These past 3 episodes have had a reoccurring theme that I want to point out. For one, the first episode, Hosma, he is a medical student. He doesn't have his official doctor's license, so he should not be working on patients, because if he was to find out and the authorities find out about this, well, he could get arrested for one, but also his career in being a doctor would be ruined completely. So, this is pretty bad, because these past 3 episodes have had this reoccurring theme to where he's constantly working on people that should not be worked on, or he should not be working on regardless, even as a doctor, because he's not working on them in the proper environment. Like, the first episode, getting to see how he took this child, he did a risky operation, he was a medical student, and even the top doctor in that facility did not want to work on the child, and then Hosma went out of his way to save the child, took him to this facility that had a drug addict dude, which, that's alarm bells right there. I mean, in any society, if you have someone like that, you shouldn't be bringing someone to do, like, some form of surgery or in the same room as the person, and that right there was a pretty bad situation. So Hosma, he's digging himself into a deeper hole by the episode. Like, the second episode, seeing what happened to him, I mean, he had to do a face transplant, he was in a situation with, you know, owing back money, and I mean, that right there also goes to show you he's going down a dark path, a thorny, dark path, which I like the way the symbolism is being used, which I neglected to talk about this in my first review. I used it as a thumbnail, I said it in the comments, but I did not say it in video voice. I want to say it now. I noticed that this series, Young Blackjack, I don't know if the animators were trying to imply that, or if the mangaka was trying to imply that, but when it comes to the Thorns wrapping itself around Hosma, like we see in this episode, it makes me remember the crown of thorns. You know what happened to Jesus, how he wore the crown of thorns? That's what it looks like to me. And I wonder if they're trying to symbolize that Hosma's like Jesus in a way, like he does perfect operations, because we see multiple examples throughout these episodes to where he does great operations on his first attempt of doing them, and I wonder if that's what they're implying, or if it's something else. Maybe it's because he's on a thorny path and he doesn't know what direction he's going to go. That could also be what it means. But for now, though, getting back into the direct theme of this episode, he works on the deserter, and he has an issue with his brain where it's swelling up, and if he doesn't do something soon, the dude's gonna have brain damage, and he won't be able to operate as a normal human being for the rest of his life. So Hosma has to do a quick move to where he has to do an operation of releasing pressure from the brain by cutting a piece of his skull out of his head. And I've seen this done before in many shows and manga and even anime. I've seen it done many times. I've seen it on CSI, I've seen it on Saw, I've seen it in anime, I've seen it in manga, I've seen it in a lot of places. So it's not something I haven't seen before. But what I did find out was, Hazama, this was the first time he's ever attempted to do something like this, and it's a very risky operation because, I mean, you gotta go figure, in the time, like, where they were at in the timeline of human history, like, they're in the early 1900s, and then also, you know, they weren't in a proper facility to do this type of stuff. It's mind-boggling how Hazama can pull off such great feats without the proper equipment. Like, he doesn't have the best setup. I mean, you give this man the proper equipment and the best setup, imagine what kind of miracles he could do in the future. And here's the thing I need to mention now. Hazama has shown time and time again he is unstoppable when it comes to him doing operations. But now, we need a failure. We need a failure now. For a character to grow, you can't always just have the character constantly winning. You can't always have a character being perfect, because you need characters that have their downfalls. You need characters to be able to trip on themselves, to be able to give room for growth. And if Hazama's constantly doing perfect operations, that means he has no room to grow. I mean, right now, the main growth he's getting is his morals as a doctor. He's trying to realize that what type of doctor he wants to be. Like, does he want to be an underground doctor that will not follow the rules of society, or will he be a proper doctor that will get his degree, and will he work in a hospital? That's the path and growth he's taking right now, but he needs growth in a way of where he needs to fail at doing a surgery. Because with that, it'll allow him to get more motivation to become better. So there's my thoughts of this episode of Young Blackjack. Pretty damn good episode. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or nights wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.